I would like to say that this potentially could be a piece of crap, and I would like to change it at some point if I need to. Welcome to my wheel. And am I scared? Yes, I am. It's quite shocking and it's quite edited. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. I'm honestly scared. This could get very interesting. I'm scared. Can you sense? I'm scared. I'm scared. I was scared at the beginning of my year of 5 finds. This is gonna be a way lot less. All right, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year. I'm coming to you from winter break still. My kids are all at home and I just realized, oh my gosh, I have to film this video because it's all about a new year of for me, and I'm in this weird zone right now where I'm at the end of my year of 5 finds. I'm at the beginning of my next year, 2020 year of, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm buying potentially, and so I need to like close the gap and film this video. So if you're watching this right now, you may have already watched my previous video, which was all about my year of 5 finds shopping report card, how I did with that challenge of only buying 5 things a month. And what I learned from that was that I still have a lot of work to do. I feel like I slowed my shopping. I educated myself a little bit on slow fashion, conscious fashion, and basically all of the main issues surrounding fast fashion. And so I just basically want to hone in on that even more, shop even less, and do even better. Because what I learned from reviewing my stats for the year against what the average consumer purchases, I've just become an average shopper. And so I still have so much more work to do, and that's what I'm gonna focus on this year. So I've been talking over on Instagram for the last few months about what my year of for this year would potentially be. Mainly that I wanted to continue this goal, but zero in on shopping even less and even better. And that was before I even saw my end of stats, saw how much I decreased my fast fashion and all of those things. That's before I saw my pie chart breakout, which I didn't share in that video, but I did share on Instagram, of like what was my fast fashion beforehand and what was it after. And I want to close in on that even more, and I think I realized that having a really even, balanced like shopping report card is important to me. It's important to me to, if I'm buying fast fashion, that it's thoughtful, that if I'm buying conscious fashion, it's not because I'm buying it because it's conscious, it's that I'm buying it because it filled a void in my closet or it was something on my wish list. And so I want to make sure that my wardrobe was very balanced. So I did think about at one point having a year of like balanced finds or something, where I was trying to honestly figure out this annoying mathematical equation of like making sure that my wardrobe and things that I brought into my wardrobe in 2020 would be balanced. But that felt really kind of annoying. I also learned that obviously I can buy 5 things every single month. That's become my new norm. That's where I'm at. I've also learned that I don't really like no buys. I did a couple of no buys within my year of simple for 2018. And a no buy really just pressed pause on my desire to shop. And then once I could shop again, it was like, okay, just getting right back up to speed. Someone pointed out to me, Mel Larson on Instagram, who I'll mention again in a second. She mentioned to me that she actually thought a no buy within a restricted year, like my year of 5 finds, would be a little bit different because I'm not opening the floodgates again to buying whatever. I'm pressing pause, but then I'm continuing to purchase a limited quantity. And so after a no buy, when you're only buying 5 things or only buying whatever this thing right here is about to tell me I can buy, it's restrained. So after talking to a lot of you guys on Instagram, someone named Elle, who has a private account, she mentioned this little app that is like a decision maker that has a wheel. You put a bunch of different things in all the little fields and you spin it and it lands on something. And I thought, well, that's so fun. The first thing I thought was that's kind of frivolous to just like let it be up to a wheel what I decide to buy, because I really do think that you should only be buying what you need or what fits your wardrobe. But like I said earlier, I now know that I can absolutely find almost 5 things a month now. That's become my new norm. And then Amanda, I'll link her below on Instagram, she upped the ante and said, oh my gosh, you should buy a wheel. And then I was like, Wheel of Finds, that is so fun. And so I'm crafty, or I used to be crafty. I haven't been crafty in a long time, and I made my own darn wheel. And so I'm about to share with you my Wheel of Finds for 2020. I'm so excited about this darn thing. I put so much thought into this and all the different potential finds on here. I'm going to go through all the finds that are on this and why I chose them in just a moment. But I wanted to share with you that there are so many people out there doing different low buys or slow fashion years in 2020. I only know of a few. I can't think of all of them right now. I will list them, like 4 or 5 that I know of below. If you know of any, please share those below, and you know who is doing these that we should all be following either on YouTube or Instagram. Mel Larson, who I follow on Instagram, I mentioned her a second ago. She did a version of my Year of Simple that I did in 2018. She did a Year of Simple for 2019, her own version. She picked her own challenges every month, and it was really fun to watch. And she was inspired by my Year of 5 finds, that she is doing a Year of 5 finds on like an absolute other level that I can't even believe. And she is doing a Year of 5 buys, where she only buys 5 things for the total year. So I'm so interested to follow her and see how her year goes. Also, Megan Claire, who I follow on Instagram, one of them, that's 2 different people, but one of them is doing a year of, or it's called No New 52. So she's not buying anything new for the 52 weeks of the year, so for the whole of 2020, but she is allowing herself to buy secondhand and thrifted items, consignment, and all of that. So I thought that that was a really interesting, thoughtful way to do a slow buy year. And then I know of a few people who I can't think off the top of my head because they're new follows for me, that are doing different versions of a slow buy for 2020 with only buying 20 things in 2020, which is so smart. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done that, because buying 20 things for the year would have broken out into 5 things a season. And so for me, that could have been like, you know, my Year of 5 finds, but 5 per season equaling 2020. I just like how organized that is for the year. And so I had already started working on this wheel. So I'm doing this, and I am excited because I'm excited about the spontaneity of that. Every month could potentially be different. Every month I don't necessarily know what I am or am not going to be able to buy. And I'm excited and nervous. So I'm going to show you all of the things right now. Oh, by the way, I'm going to refer to this as my Wheel of Finds. So at the beginning of every month, I'm going to give my Wheel of Finds a spin. There are 12 different things on here, so I could have 12 different scenarios. This is my Wheel of Finds, but I decided that I'm actually going to call my year of for this year just my Year of Less. I just thought that it maybe was a little confusing if you're new to following me. I know that when I mention Year of 5 finds, a lot of people ask, what is the Year of 5 finds? And I think that as I talk about it, you can sort of gather maybe what it is. And so Year of Less, I feel like, is maybe just more self-explanatory than Wheel of Finds. So I'm going to be referring to my challenge for 2020 as my Year of Less. But when I talk specifically about what my challenge is for the month, or that I'm about to do this, it'll be like my Wheel of Finds. But for the most part, I will be calling it my Year of Less, because ultimately every potential challenge that I have added up is way less than last year. So if we look at the wheel, my 10-year-old helps me with this a lot. This was a fun crafting project for her and I, but I will leave for you, it's also like a wheel of death if you get your finger stuck under there. And there is a fidget spinner, you can see it. That's what's spinning this thing. So I'll leave the tutorial for this below because it was very helpful for me if some reason you want to make your own wheel up just for like chores or fun things or whatever to do with your kids. It was really fun and a little bit stressful to make, but ultimately it's very fun. Okay, so let's break down what all these little things are. So I have in here every other one except for this one right here because I ended up on a weird thing, is 0 to 5 finds. So I do have a no buy in here. I talked about that I was thinking about not doing a no buy, but that I did think that a no buy within a really constrained year could be helpful. If I only was able to buy one item after a no buy, how thoughtful would that one item be? So I kind of like the idea of that. So I do have a no buy on here. I do have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 finds. So only buying 1 find for the month, 5 finds, which I know I'm good at. So that's real edited. So then over here I have spin again, just because I couldn't think of something else. Responsible brands only. So that would be an ethical, conscious, sustainable brand. So I can buy however many I want for the month, but they all have to be conscious or ethical. Thrift online. I'm really scared about this one. I have not thrifted online before, like The RealReal or Why Can't ThredUp, any of those. I've not done that before. This one I'm scared of. I'm scared of, but I'm also very curious. And I do have a really great, thorough wish list this year. I've also made a really specific wish list for online. If it's like an item that's really specific that I've been keeping throughout the year, I'm gonna go in, that's gonna be a video coming up as my wish list for 2020, which, you know, I'm getting really particular about because potentially I might not have a lot of finds to buy this year, which is good. It's my year of less finds. Okay, so wild card is the floodgates are open. I can buy whatever I want. 20 things from H&M, do it. That probably won't happen, and I don't want that to happen, but this is just a wild card. I can buy however many from whatever stores I want. This one is rent. This one I'm really curious about. I've never rented before. I've never rented from Rent the Runway. It does seem more like occasion wear, so that's interesting to me, but I specifically am curious about Nuuly. Amanda, whose idea for the wheel itself, she's been renting from Nuuly and really loving it, and so you get 6 pieces a month. So this is interesting because I would have to do it and then like pause it for the rest of the year. So we'll see how that goes, but I think it's $88 for the month and you can rent 6 pieces. So that's why I put this on here, because I'm really curious about giving it a go, recommending it or not. But also, you know, I'm curious as to the whole shopping more consciously. Like, is it conscious to rent? And there is a great article out there that I've read recently from Elizabeth Klein, who I'll link that article below, but she is the author of The Conscious Closet, which has been a helpful, valuable tool and resource for me over the year to learn about. So she did an article recently about, you know, is renting really ethical? And like I said, I'll link that below. The short answer is that it's really unclear. It's inconclusive. Yes, it puts a little bit more on the carbon footprint for shipping those things every single month, but there's also a carbon footprint into you buying things anyways. There's also a carbon footprint that you're putting out there by driving to a store and purchasing that thing, potentially returning it. She has a lot of different experts in conscious fashion who weigh in on their thoughts. Some people say it's fine, some people say it's not. And then of course, like the packaging and the dry cleaning of items. Her thing ultimately was that she thinks it's better than buying fast fashion. And she thinks that it's something that's making you think, it's making you stop and think, and that it's maybe getting out of that fast fashion cycle. For me though, as someone who has been trying to shop less and want less as well, I'm curious if it sort of like gets the endorphin rush of shopping, and if it sort of like feeds the desire to shop. I don't know. I'm not sure. So I'm curious, you know, if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. And so that's why it's on here, because I just want to know. Okay, so the wild card I already shared. Is that everything? I think that's everything. Responsible brands, spin again, no buy. Oh, secondhand, which is a month of thrifting, going to consignment shops. This could also be thrift online, but I'm so scared of that one that this probably will be going in person. Speaking of secondhand, within the last year and a half, I've been doing one thrift video per season with my friend Carrington. And I was worried about how that might fit into this. So last year when I went into my year of 5 finds, knowing that I was only buying 5 things a month, and knowing that Carrington and I would still be thrifting once a season, I was like, well, maybe I should just make thrifting, any items that I thrift for once a quarter with her will just be extra, and I won't count them as my 5 finds, because thrifting is one of the more conscious things that you can do shopping wise. But I ultimately decided that for me, thrifting, I didn't want to just like open the floodgates to now I'm thrifting and bringing a ton of thrifted items into my wardrobe, because it was just as important for me to not have a cluttered closet. That's ultimately kind of why I decided to start doing this in the first place, was just feeling like I was bringing too many just thoughtless items into my wardrobe, and it was cluttering up my closet. I couldn't truly love and use the things that I really wanted to, because I was just like decluttering often, and I wanted to get out of that cycle. And so I decided that for my year of 5 finds with her, if I found something when we were thrifting, it would go towards one of my 5 finds for the month. I only thrifted 5 things total last year, which was great because the year before that it was 0. So this year is tough kind of, because Carrington and I will be thrifting 4 times throughout the year again, so once a season, but I might not. I only have one, well, I have finds in here, individual finds, in one secondhand year, but I might be on a no-buy. I might be on a rent month. I might be on a only conscious brands, although thrifting is conscious, so I guess I could squeeze that one in there. So I'm only gonna buy something thrifted if it fits within my wheel for the month. So I know that that seems random, but it's still fun to go there and thrift with her. It's still fun to film those videos, and so whether or not I'll actually be able to purchase something, we shall see. The other thing that's really interesting about this for me is that throughout the course of the year, last year for my Year of 5 finds, I was able to, like at the end of the month, each month, I felt comfortable if I found something, it was like, oh, I can put this into my next month's finds. And so I kind of did that, especially with like returning things, because I was really returning a lot of things, especially things that I bought online. So there ended up being some sort of like overhang within each month. And this is sort of tricky because I actually have to spin the wheel to know what I potentially can buy the next month. So there is a little bit of like logistically what I can and can't buy for the month is sort of ambiguous because I don't really know. So I don't know how, we'll just have to see. That's just one thing that I'm thinking of that I'm like, oh, that's kind of confusing. Like right now, I'm like, there's all these winter sales going on, which I don't really want to buy much, but I'm like, oh, I don't even know what I can potentially buy. But I'm gonna spin the wheel right now for my first one for January in just a second. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to mention is with my Year of 5 finds, I allowed myself 5 bonus items anywhere throughout the year if I found something that was over and above my 5 finds, which I talked a little bit about this as well in the last video for my fashion stats. I only used 3 of those for the year. And I found it funny because in the beginning of the year I was so scared about only buying 5 things a month. It seemed like such an edit that now it seems funny to me that I was like, I'm gonna need 5 bonuses throughout the year. But I am in fact going to reinstate those 5 bonuses for this year because this is like leaving it up to absolute insanity. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to buy anything, and I want to be able, even in a no-buy month, if my no-buy month, when I am in San Francisco, my family and I are taking a trip to San Francisco this year, I will be so pissed if I get a no-buy and then I'm like, I can't buy anything there. I would like to at least be able to use one of my bonus items for that particular instance. And there's a ton of conscious brands that are in San Francisco, and so I would love to be able to go to Morvair, Reformation, Everlane, although that one's in the Mission and we don't really plan on going to the Mission. So anyways, I am gonna be doing the 5 bonuses again, just because this is like absolute uncertainty to the max for me. So before I spin this wheel, I want to tell you a little story. The story of the 2 sample years that I spun to see what my potential finds could be for the year. So I spun this a total of 24 times, so 2 years worth. And the first year, I think I had 4 no-buys and 14 total finds. And it never landed on Conscious Brand, which I was so bummed about. It never landed on Rent, which I was like, okay. And then the second year, I threw that piece of paper away, so I don't remember what it was, but it was also like super edited. It was maybe like 22 finds and a couple of no-buys in there. So this could potentially be really scary. So I would like to say that at some point through the year, maybe like the quarter of the way or the halfway through, if I've had like 5 no-buys, I will replace this or whatever. I don't know if this is weighted or if this is like, I didn't weight it on purpose. I would have not weighted it on a no-buy if that were the case. But I would like to be able to take the power back and say, oh, no. I'm going to take that one out and just replace it with another, like, you know, 4 finds or something. I don't know, or a secondhand. I would like to say that this potentially could be a piece of crap, and I would like to change it at some point if I need to. I'm scared. Can you sense? I'm scared. I'm scared. I was scared at the beginning of my Year of 5 finds. This is gonna be a way lot less, and so I'm like super scared. And I know that sounds stupid because it just has to do with shopping, but you know what? Like, I don't know. There are people doing no-buys, a no-buy year. So anything is great that's, you know, over a no-buy, but I'm just, honestly, I'm a little scared. Okay, so the last thing I want to say before I spin this is this might be the only time that I actually spin this on YouTube live, because I'm not great with posting videos, recording them and planning them and posting them like right at the beginning of the month or whatnot. I probably most of the time will be spinning this live either the last day of the month or the first day of the month on Instagram. So if you're not following me over on Instagram, I'm at What Kate Finds, but I will be showing that Instagram story in each video. I was just trying to figure out how would this logistically make sense with me spinning the wheel, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I think for the most part it's going to make most sense for me to do it live on Instagram, but I am going to do it live for the first time right here. And am I scared? Yes, I am. And it does spin better if it's on a flat surface, and you can see it looks like a circus thing where like someone's going to like stab someone. I don't know, this looks scary. Normally I'll shoot it with my camera for Instagram down this way because like I said, I feel like when it goes this way, it's not as fair. Okay. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. I'm honestly scared. And depending on how I spin it, sometimes it does a full spin and sometimes it doesn't even do a full spin. I made this, so this is not actually a good wheel. Okay, here we go. I was waiting to see where it fell because it was in between two. It was in between. Can you even see? I'm sorry if you can't see. It fell on, it was in between, it was going like this, and it landed on 4 fines. Okay, I feel good. That feels good. 4 fines, I can do that. I can totally do that. I'm excited. So again, when it lands on a number of fines, so 1 through 5 fines, those fines can be anything. They can be conscious brands, it can be fast fashion, thoughtful fast fashion preferably, but it's up to me. And I will be, again, at the end of the year, doing a fashion report card like I did for 2019. I will continue to do a monthly recap. So whatever my thing is for the month, I will have a recap for that month for January. So I'll be sharing that at the end of the month. Even if it's a no-buy, I will share my no-buy experience, what it was like to not buy for that month. Welcome to my year of less, my wheel of 5 finds. Right now, I'm on a 4 fine. So for January, I have 4 things that I can purchase this month very thoughtfully. And yeah, I'm really excited. One of the future videos that you can expect to see from me in either January or February is going to be my wish list for the year. I did that last year for my year of 5 finds. That actually might be interesting to revisit that wish list and see what I purchased. That could be an interesting, maybe even an interesting like in combo with my wish list for 2020 video. I wonder how many things I actually bought that I mentioned in that video. I'm not even sure what I mentioned in that video. I remember I mentioned a white denim jacket and a gal meets glam dress, and I did get those things. But I've been keeping a very thorough wish list, even more so. I think currently right now, the amount of things in my wish list is more than the year that I first spun on this. So it's more than 14 things. So potentially I might not even be able to buy everything on my wish list. That'll be interesting to see. Wheel of 5 finds, year of less, welcome to my wheel. All right, this could either be really good or really bad. I'm really scared, to be honest. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in another video real soon. Bye.